And we're happy to be joined right now by North Kingstown star golfer Will Owens, who also played in the Little League World Series a handful of years ago for Coventry. So he's good enough to join us. And obviously, Will, this is a golf podcast, and I run a golf website. But as I mentioned to you off here, anytime we get to cross sports for something special like this, I figured I would take a shot at it. And thanks so much for coming on. I'm really looking forward to talking to you.
Of course, no problem.
So we'll get into your golf. We want to get into your summer, and you've had a couple of good finishes at Challenge Cup events, and they made the RA Amateur, etc. So we'll get into some golf, but I really wanted to have you on because obviously the Little League World Series is going on. For those wondering, we're taping this on Wednesday evening. Rhode Island just beat Nevada 3-1 in the first game of the Little League World Series. And Will, you were in the Little League World Series back in 2018 with Coventry, Hughes, and Sam Fuentes. So just to give people an idea of, we'll get into some of the details and the specifics of it, but just give people an idea of what is it like to be in that tournament. What was that run like? What do you remember about it? What is the whole experience like? Just kind of big picture.
Uh, Mostly what I remember is just like hanging out with our teammates and just the friends. Like the coolest thing was like the kids. You'd be walking around the park and like kids would just come up to you and like you're only like maybe 4 years older than them and they're asking for your autograph, and that was probably the coolest part about it.
How much do you charge for autographs?
Can't charge.
um, so Smithfield just won. I'm sure you watched the game or watched some of the game. Connor Curtis had 15 strikeouts, and it reminded me a little bit of a big time pitcher that was on your team in Tommy Turner. When you have a pitcher like that, Tommy is pitching for UConn next year, I believe. Yep, right. And when you have a big time pitcher like that, whether it's a Connor Curtis or Tommy Turner, I mean, how big is that for your team? I mean, what was that like playing behind Tommy? What do you think it's like playing for these kids to play behind Connor, who just had 15 strikeouts, just filthy stuff?
Yeah, I mean that's huge. Like you need at least one pitcher like that to kind of make that run. It's hard to do without, but I mean we had Tommy and we had Jake Mather. I'm not sure if he's committed to a college, but back then he was throwing gas too.
Yeah, awesome. When you get there, right? Because it's all fun and games, and there's a parade and everything. Obviously you have games to play. How long does it take for the I don't want to say the excitement of being there to wear off because you're obviously excited to be there, but when is it like finally like okay, we have to like actually play a game now and like focus in on a game? Does that take a couple of days or take a day? How long does it take you guys to sort of the newness of it sort of wear off and time to play?
I would say after our first day, kind of, because we got there after we beat Massachusetts,
Mhm.
and so we took the bus straight there, and then once we got there, we had to take pictures for our like badges, our IDs to get in and out of the living areas, and then we kind of walked the park, got to see it, went to see our quarters, put our stuff away. So I'd say probably for us, probably a day, because then we started practicing the next day. So
Yeah, really cool. And one of the coolest things about the World Series, I'm curious to ask you, is obviously you meet kids from all over the country, all over different countries actually, all over the world, I guess is probably the better way to phrase it. How many of those kids, if any, do you still keep in touch with? Maybe see them, not necessarily obviously from your own team, but how many of those kids from that you met from all over the world do you still keep in touch with in some way, shape, or form? Any of them?
I've kept in touch with one kid from New York. His name was Justin, but besides that, not really. But we roomed with I think it was back then it was like Europe, Africa. So we roomed with them. We got kind of close with those kids.
In the games, obviously you guys played three games. You lost your first two in tough fashion, but then you won your consolation game. I think like 15-0 or
Yeah,
something.
15-1, I think, or
15
something.
to one was it? It was something ridiculous. I just looked it
Yeah.
up. But it was something ridiculous. I think it was the most runs I read is like the most runs ever scored in like a Little League World Series game or something crazy.
Might have
Uh,
been like that, yeah.
Something like that. In the games, do you have a specific memory of a play you made, whether it's a big hit you got or a stolen base or an outfield play? Is there like a play that sticks out to you that you'll remember for the rest of your life? You can tell your kids about eventually.
Probably just pitching in that consolation game.
Yeah.
Tommy started the game and then through the first like he might have pitched like two guys in the first inning and then I pitched the last three, I think. But yeah, probably pitching in that game. That was I mean, there's nothing like that.
What is that like? I mean, coming out of the bullpen, so to speak. Today we just saw it with in the Smithfield game at Connor going five in like a third. I think he went. Technically, is the baseball language for it. And then somebody comes in out of the bullpen. What is that whole experience like? Talk about pitching in a Little League World Series game.
Yeah, I mean, I was nervous through my first two batters rather. But I kind of settled in. I don't think I gave up one hit. So I pitched pretty well. But I mean, it's just so surreal. Like it's like just pitching in front of like hundreds of thousands of people is just crazy.
And on ESPN. How was the ESPN interaction? Because they're doing all these different stories you see, and Julie Foudy, who was on the U.S. Olympic soccer team way back when,
Yeah.
doing interviews and stuff. How was that? How was that whole experience? I mean, that's got to be one of the coolest parts of the whole thing, being on national TV.
Yeah, I remember when we got to do our intros. That was really fun, like speaking into it, and then we'd go over to like they had a big white screen and like you could dress up funny and stuff and could do it with some of your teammates too. But I think the coolest thing was we got to hang out with some MLB players. The year I went, it was the Mets and the Phillies. And so we were watching one of the games and me and Sammy actually, we were sitting with Noah Syndergaard. So
Oh,
that was really cool.
yeah, and then I think this year, yeah, they have the baseball game now, the Major League Baseball game. I think this year is the Phillies and the Nationals. I want to say they're just advertising it on TV. I think it's the Phillies and the Nationals on Sunday night for whoever wants to watch that. Rhode Island plays again on Friday afternoon against Tennessee. They avoid the elimination round. Uh, what do you think of the game today? I mean, I think they had one hit. There are strikeouts everywhere, wild pitches, which is where a lot of the runs are scored. But watching that game today, did it bring back memories? Were you like coaching from the couch? What was that like for you? Does it bring back a lot of memories just watching another team from Rhode Island play, or just watching
Yeah.
anybody play?
Yeah, I mean, there's actually been a few teams from Rhode Island.
Yeah,
Barrington went the year after us. We actually
Cumberland. Yeah,
Cumberland, yep.
yep.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, you just sometimes, yeah, it's a little bit like trying to coach from the couch a little bit. Like, don't do what we did, obviously. I mean, we lost two close games, but I mean, that kid's gonna be good. He's he's got a good arm and he has good off speed. So
I do have to ask you about one game. It was actually the game in the regionals where you guys were down 5-0, and you came all the way back. And then you almost did it again. And actually, you did come back against Iowa in the elimination game, and they ended up holding on to win. But you guys came back 5-0 in to get to the championship, regional championship. You did it again against Iowa. Little League is only 6 innings. So
yeah,
what is the mindset? Maybe these kids are going to be going through it in the next game. Who knows? You never know. But what was that like to come back like that? I mean, that's gotta be one of the great memories that you have, just being able to come back like that in a
yeah,
short game.
that was crazy. I remember. I mean, I was the first out in that inning. I think we had two guys got on, and then I got out, and the guy after me got out, and then I think Sammy actually had a double that scored two runs, and then we had our next two guys get on, and then a kid Tommy he hit a single up the middle, and the winning run was on second base, and he actually jumped over Tommy's single, jumped over the ball, so that was crazy. And then afterwards, I mean, we were just like it was crazy that experience.
If you could give advice to the current team, Smithfield playing, what would it be? It was just enjoy it. What would you be your advice to the current group of Rylanders playing in the World Series?
Just stay in the moment. Don't try to like think about results or anything. Get too far ahead of yourself. But probably just stay in the moment. Like can't start thinking about results.
Awesome. Now let's talk golf. This is a golf podcast after all. We pivoted to baseball for a second. Uh, you're a senior at North Kingstown next year, a star player. You've had a pretty good summer. You've made the amateur. you've had a couple of great finishes in Challenge Cup events and other events as well. Talk about your golf game. Talk about your summer on the course so far.
It's been all right. I've been working a lot, and I hurt my LCL earlier in the spring, so I mean haven't finally fully recovered, but probably I'd say midway through June I was still struggling a little bit. But I've had some good finishes. Finished pretty good at Triggs. I think I came top 10, and I had some good finishes earlier in the year.
What are you looking forward to the most about senior year at North Kingstown?
Trying to win a state championship. I mean, we have three good seniors coming in. And we have a good freshman who hopefully develops over this summer, and can help us win next year.
For you, when you're playing, where are you trying to improve, and maybe just try to get to the next level, whether it's college or wherever. But for you, where are you trying to improve? What do you think you need to get better at, or what would you like to get better at?
Uh, just ball striking in general, probably. My short game is my strength. I mean, today I hit 9 greens and shot two over. So I mean, I've had some rounds where I've shot like 3 under and hit like 7 greens. So if I can just get more consistent and hit more greens, hit like 13, 14 greens around, just take a little less pressure off my short game.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to and there's still a couple of Challenge Cup tournaments left. There's a Challenge Cup championship, right? Last year was at Shelter Harbor. I don't know where it is off the top of my head this year.
I think it's that shelter again.
Yeah, so there's definitely a few events coming up that people can come see you, or I can come see you, either one. Uh, what what's the state of junior golf? I mean, junior golf here right now, we see it in all the tournaments. It's pretty amazing to see so many good players. Yourself, obviously, the Max Jacksons of the world, and the Olivia Williams on the girls' side, and the Eatons. You're in it, in the midst of it. What has it been like? I mean, it's pretty. I would say it's a pretty unique time for golf in Rhode Island right now, especially junior golf.
Yeah, junior golf's probably the senior class, and my class has probably been the strongest it's almost ever been with Ryan Dacey,
Mhm.
Mark Antonio, Sebastian. You got incoming guys like Rocco Cababo. He was on our New England junior team, so he's gonna be a kid to watch out for next year. But yeah, New England or Rhode Island junior golf is it's really really good right now.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's been fun to cover. It's been fun to write about, and like I said, it's been one of the most unique times I think in Rhode Island golf in many years. Just with so many kids going to colleges, so many so much high level golf being played. So, listen, enjoy the rest of your summer. I know there's only a couple weeks left, so enjoy that and enjoy the rest of the Little League World Series. And thanks so much for taking a few minutes to talk to me.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. That's Will Owens, star golfer of North Kingstown High School, but he's also a star player for Coventry Little League back in 2018 as we uh, celebrate Rhode Island getting back to the Little League World Series with Smithfield. And again, they play again on Friday. Well, thanks so much. Really appreciate it.